Well, we're getting more confirmation that James Gunn's Superman is going to be hopeful and optimistic, unlike what we got in 2013 with the dark and brooding and emo Superman. I'm kidding. You guys know I love Man of Steel. I look at it as a masterpiece, but the general audience didn't look at it that way. The general audience truly looked at it as a dark and depressing emo Superman that just didn't resonate with them like they really wanted it to. Now, that is a good thing to hear. And while there's a lot of people out there who say, well, you can't trust the people who work on the movie, you can't trust this, you can't trust that, I beg to differ. Now, where are we getting this from? Well, over at comicbook.com, a star of the upcoming movie, Anthony Carrigan, dropped a hint about the emotional heart of James Gunn's upcoming Superman. He plays Metamorpho in the DC Universe reboot. And he suggests that the take of this Superman will emphasize hope rather than darkness. Now, his comments come amidst ongoing speculation about how Gunn will reinvent Superman for a modern audience without losing the character's essential optimism. Now, this is exciting because let's not forget that Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, those two films did lean more into a darker type of realm when it came to Superman. Don't get me wrong, look, I enjoyed those movies, and I know there's plenty of people who did enjoy those movies. But the problem is, it didn't land with the general and larger audience. Going to a more hopeful route, or more accurately, hitting a hopeful tone more immediately, should be and may be beneficial. Look, we know that Man of Steel, Zack Snyder was going for a marathon, not a sprint. He was looking at the picture of Superman was going to be hopeful. This was going to be bright and hopeful down the line. He never really got to that point. Granted, he was not given the chance to, but that's not what the audiences wanted. The audiences wanted Superman to be Superman. They wanted Superman to be the big blue Boy Scout. They didn't want him depressed and questioning his place in the world. They wanted him to be Superman. Whether you agree with that or not, that's unfortunate. I don't know what else to tell you. Some people liked it. Most people did not. Now, this does go in line with what James Gunn was saying back in GQ in 2023. He goes, I'm definitely influenced by what Donner did with Superman and what Christopher Reeve did with Superman and Margot Kidder, who's fantastic in the movie. She's really the heart of it in a lot of ways. He's basically explaining how, yes, he appreciated what they did with Superman and understanding how that there was a lot of hope and optimism in that movie. Now, a lot of people are going to take these comments and say, well, this just means we're going to have another 1978 Christopher Reeve Superman, and we don't want that. That's ridiculous. This is 2025. That's not what this means. We're getting back to the core and basics of Superman with this movie. That's what this is insinuating. There's a difference when it comes to understanding the audiences and understanding how to approach an audience. And comic book movies, while I understand that there's a time and place for exploring deeper, stories and deeper theology and deeper, just what is it that I'm looking for? You take a look at how Zack Snyder approaches things. He wants to really dive deep into these different types of ways of looking at the world and looking at people's morals and how you approach life. And he likes to take a really deep look at things. And while that worked with something like The Watchmen, when it comes to Superman, that doesn't necessarily work. People want to sit down and watch a Superman movie to watch a Superman movie. I was all for it. I was all for it. I was all for checking that out. I was all for, like, yeah, let's go for it. Let's check this out. But the mass audience wasn't. And that's the difference. That's what people need to understand. That's how people need to approach things. I'm not saying it needs to be cookie cutter. I'm not saying that it needs to sit there and be just like it is with Marvel, where it needs to be exactly like Marvel is. But what I think people need to understand is you need to have a little sense of understanding on how the audience and the grander audience and the general audience wants to approach and watch these films. And when it comes down to it, when it really comes down to it, I think people just want a fun, hopeful, heartwarming film. Absolutely, you can have some deeper messages in a movie like this. Absolutely. And I think you're going to get that in this film. But all in all, it's a comic book movie. It is a superhero film that should have a lot of fun moments. It should be exciting. It should be funny at times. It should have heart. It should have humor. It should have heroics. It should have all of that. It should have all of it. And I think James Gunn's going to deliver on it. And the more that we start hearing the actors and the cast coming out and saying all this stuff, it's going to line up with how James Gunn spoke about it years ago as he was building up to shooting this film and while he was writing it. And to me, that's exciting. That's exciting. And I think this is the way that we have to approach this going into the marketing and understand as the marketing starts to ramp up finally. The marketing is going to take off here in the next few weeks. This is the time for marketing. And it's going to go crazy. We're going to get trailers. We're going to get TV spots. You're going to see merchandise coming out like crazy. It's going to be fun times. This is going to be the point in time when specifically the fans, the ones who are truly looking forward to this movie, we're going to be the ones that need to be out there and just shouting from the rooftops like, look, this movie's going to be great. But we're going to see cereal boxes with Superman. We're going to see things with Superman's face all over it. People aren't going to be able to get away from it. People are going to start to see and know that Superman is coming. And that's exciting because it's going to be out there in a while. People are going to know Superman is coming. And that is phenomenal. This new DC universe is really starting to take off. It's going to take off here in just a few months. It's going to bring a lot of hope back into the world. It's exactly what this world needs right now. We need hope. After the last few years, I'd say 4-5 years, after what happened in this country, specifically the last 4 years, we need hope. We need hope in seeing something that just excites us. So Superman is the right movie right now. Look, you guys know I think this movie is going to be fantastic. I think it's going to do well. But hearing this from the cast, hearing this from the crew, hearing this kind of stuff just gets me more excited. I hope it gets you excited too. Let me know your thoughts. I want to know what you guys think. Again, we're going to start hearing more and more of this. CinemaCon's just in a couple weeks. So no, not like a week. Not even a couple weeks. It's like a week away. We're going to get the full trailer at that point in time. Should be exciting. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Love to hear what you have to say. With all that said, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and I will catch you all later.